Motivation is an unreliable fuel source. When you rely solely on how you feel, you stall out. Without a reliable system, you're waiting for inspiration. To fix this, we use the Elite Seller Playbook. It is a 4-step framework designed to replace that fluctuating energy with a daily routine that operates regardless of your mood. You only need 3 things to begin: a targeted list of prospects, a digital calendar, and a willingness for uncomfortable conversations. This playbook is designed to turn your work ethic into a repeatable process. By following these steps, you create a baseline for results that depends on your discipline rather than the fleeting luck of a good day. Your first step is to isolate 60 minutes at the very start of your day. This time is reserved exclusively for preparation and managing your pipeline. You must complete this block before you check your email. If you open your inbox first, your day will be dictated by other people's requests instead of your own strategic goals. To make this a habit, you need a specific trigger in your schedule. Open your calendar and create a 60-minute block at 8 a.m. Label it non-negotiable prep and color it bright red so it cannot be ignored. This structured hour ensures you have a clear plan for every prospect. It replaces the chaotic, low-yield habit of winging it with a period of focused, high-output activity. With a visual anchor in your calendar, you no longer have to decide to work. The decision is already made, ensuring you execute the plan even on days when you don't feel like it. Step 2 is developing commercial insight. This is the ability to see a problem that is currently hurting the prospect's business, even if they haven't identified it themselves yet. Start by noting the surface-level problem the prospect usually complains about, such as their pipeline being down by 15%. This diagram illustrates the gap. While a 15% drop is the visible symptom, the actual driver is often hidden deeper. In this case, an inefficient tech stack is what's truly draining their team's productivity. If you take the surface problem at face value, you will likely fall into the trap of pitching features that don't solve the core issue. Identifying the deeper problem prevents you from trying to solve a productivity crisis with a lead generation tool. You must then connect that root cause to the metrics the prospect cares about most, like their annual growth targets or their employee attrition rates. Mastering this step changes your role in the conversation. By diagnosing the true cause of their friction, you begin to move away from being a simple vendor and toward a role where you provide genuine business guidance. Step 3 is the reframe. Never lead with what your product does. Instead, lead the prospect toward a solution by challenging the assumptions they have about their own problem. Consider this closet. If it's at 100% capacity, most people assume they either have too many clothes or their closet is simply too small. Based on that assumption, they might consider an expensive renovation to build a bigger closet, a solution we've crossed out here because it's often unnecessary. The reframe reveals the real issue: thick plastic hangers. By switching to thin wire hangers, you can increase your storage space by 30% for a fraction of the cost of a renovation. When you present data that contradicts a prospect's initial logic, it forces them to reevaluate their strategy. It shows them a path they hadn't considered. Successfully reframing the customer's problem builds trust. It proves your value as an expert who can see efficiencies the prospect has missed, well before you discuss any specific product features. Step 4 is organizing your pitch into a 3-point narrative. Establish the current state of chaos, introduce your reframe, and describe the desired outcome. For this initial story, you need to remove all mention of pricing, feature checklists, and technical specifications. Notice the contrast here. The amateur message focuses on cost and specs, which usually triggers a defensive response. The professional version is focused entirely on the outcomes and the clarity of the solution. Your goal is not to just provide information, but to act as a guide. You are helping the buyer make sense of a complex situation, rather than overwhelming them with more data. Focusing the narrative on outcomes helps lower buyer skepticism. It provides a framework to justify the cost of your solution based on the actual business value the prospect will gain. That is the Elite Seller Playbook: locked-in discipline, identifying the real pain, reframing the problem, and building a narrative around value. These 4 steps provide a repeatable system for your career. They ensure that your daily progress is driven by a process you control, rather than hoping for a lucky break. To start, select your top 3 prospects today. Run them through this framework and adjust your outreach based on the reframed insights you've uncovered. Preparation is what separates professionals from amateurs. Stop waiting for the right mood to strike and start executing your way from rookie to pro.